Hey guys, the Super Review Show here for another episode of Rock Talk. This is the show where I break down famous albums and whatnot in the rock world, if you will, that have anniversaries or they're just that good and you have to listen to them. This is the show where we're talking about just pretty much any rock album in the world. But today I want to talk about I did not realize that this album turned 50 this year, but it is one of my favorite albums in the whole widest world by one of my favorite bands in the whole widest world, The Who. The Who's Next turns 50 this year. Or turned 50 a couple days ago. This is an original pressing of the LP. Here's the back of it, because everyone sees the front. Not everyone sees the back. This album, from start to finish, is a masterpiece. Everything from Bob O'Reilly. It's not Teenage Wasteland. It's Bob O'Reilly. Bargain, fantastic song. Love Ain't For Keeping. True, good song. My Wife, the song is over. Their side one is done. Then side two has really good stuff on it. Getting in Tune, great track. Going Mobile, great track. Behind Blue Eyes, fantastic track. And one of the greatest rock and roll songs ever on any song or any album ever. Won't Get Fooled Again. 8 minutes and 31 seconds closes out the album. This album, from start to finish, came out in 1971, is a masterpiece. If you have not heard this album, I know The Who, Bob O'Reilly, I know, Won't Get Fooled Again. That's on this album. But listening to it from start to finish on LP, you don't have to listen to LP. If you have Spotify, great, you listen to it on Spotify. But I gotta tell you, if you listen to this album from start to finish, do not shuffle it. Do not shuffle it. It takes you on a journey, just like Sgt. Pepper takes you on a journey, just like the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds takes you on a journey. This album takes you on a journey from start to finish, and it is a great rocking album. It's a great album from start to finish. Roger Daltrey's vocals and that iconic moment in Won't Get Fooled Again, how he's like, yeah! And he just screams his head off. Fantastic moment in rock history and rock music in general. This album is a great album from start to finish. And one of the most beautiful things about this album is when I was first listening to it on vinyl, because I do have a record, I do have a turntable, it's right over there. I listened to it from start to finish, and I was like, you know what, whatever. Because you know me, I love Spotify, I like shuffling stuff, whatever. Let me give this a shot. I gotta tell you, listening to this album from start to finish was, as I just said, a trip. It was an absolute amazing journey of listening. There's very few experiences in life, in the art world, like books, movies, etc., that give you like a certain type of feeling, and listening to this album in particular from start to finish was phenomenal. I love this album, and it phenomenal. I mean, and it still holds up. It sounds like it could have been recorded in someone's garage today. It really does. And like, look at the cover again. Look at the cover, right? There's Roger Daltrey. I believe that's Pete Townsend. That's John Entwistle, and that's Keith Moon. Funny story, Keith Moon died of drugs overdose in the 70s. I think it was 78, I could be wrong. I think it was 78. And he was a phenomenal drummer. Like, he reinvented the drums so early on in rock and roll history. And some people don't even know what he has done today. Like, my uncle, a relative of mine in my family, he's a drummer. For like a local band, and he's like, he loves The Who, but he's like, I don't know how to do this, because Keith Moon did it so well. He learned things backwards. He taught himself new tricks, and on this album in particular, he definitely shows it, especially in songs like Won't Get Fooled Again, Bob O'Reilly, Bargain. Like, the way he plays drums is phenomenal. Roger Daltrey's vocals, flawless. Roger, I'm a big fan of yours. I love your work. You're fantastic. Awesome job. Seriously, excellent job. Pete Townsend, you're one of my favorite guitarists in the whole widest world. There are few guitarists that make a world with their instrument, and you are one of them. You have definitely figured out a way to create there's very few guitarists. Like, there's great guitarists, and then there's guitarists that know how to make a world with their instrument. Like, Peter Townsend of The Who is one of those examples. I think The Edge from U2 is one of those examples, to be honest with you. Influenced by Pete Townsend, of course. Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin is one of those guys. I want to say, like, if I were to just talk about guitar, Jimi Hendrix is one of those guys for sure. If you were to listen to, I will go so far as to say Terry Kath of Chicago. Terry Kath was a phenomenal guitarist. Like, Jimi Hendrix himself said this. I'm getting off topic, but Jimi Hendrix himself said that Terry Kath was better than him. And that should tell you something. Back in when Jimi Hendrix was alive and Terry Kath was alive, Jimmy saw them Chicago play, and his guitar playing wouldn't impress Jimmy. That should tell you something right there. Anyways, back to The Who. The Who, this album from start to finish, I cannot emphasize it enough. If you have never heard this album, do yourself a favor and listen to this album. From start to finish, do not shuffle it. If you're paying for Spotify, stream from Baba O'Reilly down to Won't Get Fooled Again, and you'll be taken on a 45-minute, I want to say about a 45-minute musical journey. This album is great. It's got timeless tracks on it. Baba O'Reilly is not Teenage Wasteland. And some people say, it's a quick thing about Baba O'Reilly. Some people say that the One Direction song, Best Song Ever, has a similar chord progression to it. And I'm a One Direction guy, yes. But I listened to that song, and I was like, wait a second. The chord progression is a little bit similar to Baba O'Reilly. The dun, dun, the C, F, and B flat chords, just saying. For those of you who have any idea what I'm talking about, good for you. They really did One Direction kind of ripped off The Who. But Pete Townsend later came out and said, look, we've all been using the same 3 or 4 chords in popular music for 50, 60 years. It's not the end of the world. It's fine. And he likes One Direction too. Pete Townsend likes One Direction. What's going on? Regardless, though, check out this album. I seriously recommend it for those of you who've never heard it or even heard of The Who. The Who? What? Exactly. Not the what, The Who. Anyways, I digress. What do you guys think about this? Have you guys ever heard Who's Next? It's a fantastic album. Listen to it from start to finish. The Won't Get Fooled Again is one of my favorite endings to an album ever. Next to A Day in the Life. Next to, Jungle Land. Come on. Great stuff. I highly recommend it. Check it out. But for all your Rock Talk episodes, guys, keep it locked. The Super Review Show, the J-Man is off to rock. We'll see you guys later.